Hello friends and welcome back to Piano Lessons with Joel. I'm so happy that you're here for another piano lesson. So go ahead and get your books out. We are on page 40 of our adult all-in-one piano course, and we're going to get warming up right away with Rockets on page 40. Then we'll do a quick review of what 3/4 time signature means for you and for me. All right, get your left hand in position. Fifth finger on C, we have our third finger on E, thumb is on G, and my right hand is also ready to go in C position. 1, ready, go. G7 chord. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's repeat now. 2, go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, you may recall that for this one, we were to play an octave higher. And do those directions that we have at the bottom. I'm going to trust that you are doing that at home for homework. And we are going to move on. Let's review 3/4 time signature for just a second. Again, at the top of page 40, 3/4 means 3 beats to a measure. And the quarter note, the 4 means the quarter note gets 1 beat. And we also discovered that in 3/4 we can no longer have a whole note because a whole note would get 4 beats, and we are not allowed to have a whole note in 3/4 time because it gets too many beats. So the biggest note, or the longest note that we can have in 3/4 time, is the dotted half note. The dot on this half note adds 1 more beat to the note itself. So we have 2 beats for the half note, and then we added another beat for the dot. Dotted half note equals 3 beats, or 3 counts. Okay? So if you need to review that, please take a second to do that. You can pause the video. In the meantime, let's go up to page 41. At the top of the page, in the box above each note, write the number of counts it receives. All right, so I did my homework. Hopefully by now you've done your homework. If not, pause. Pause the video and do the top of the page, and then come back. All right, so first measure above each note, the C, E, and G, you should have a 1 above each one of those quarter notes because each one of those notes receives 1 beat. In the next measure, you should have a 1 over the F because that's a quarter note, gets 1 beat. You should have a 2 over the D. That's a half note, and that gets 2 beats. Next measure, we have E. Again, half note, 2. Next note is a quarter note, we have a 1. And then our beautiful brand new note, we have a 3 over the dotted half note. Okay? Now, when we play this one, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay? Let's play that together. Okay, so this is just the right hand, just the right hand. 1, ready, go. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, let me know if you have any questions about that one. Let's move on. Number 2 says check your answers. The notes in each measure of 3/4 must add up to 3. So go back and check each one of your measures. Make sure the highest number of counts you have in each measure is 3. If you come out with 2, if you come out with 4, then then something is incorrect there. But I think you're in good shape. Let's move on. Under each line, write one note equal in value to the sum of the two notes above it, as shown in the first example. This exercise looks like a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, it looks like so much fun. We're going to go to the board so that I can do this with you. Sorry to interrupt this lesson, but I have this book linked below if you'd like to get yourself a copy of that. And I have the beat bit piano note strips that we have been using to help us along the way, laying across my keyboard here. So you can scroll down once we're done the lesson and pick up those items if you wish, right from those links. Now back to your lesson. In this one, I've added one more layer of instruction for you, which is not in your book. As you see, I have one up here done for you already. I would like for you to put next to each note the total number of counts for that note. Example, a quarter note is 1 beat. Quarter note is 1 beat. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then we also go ahead and draw the half note, because a quarter note plus a quarter note equals the value of a half note. Now, if you've already done all these, but you haven't done this here, pause the video again, take 37 seconds, go ahead and write the value of each note next to it, and then put the sum down here. It's just another bit of an exercise that's going to help you remember the value of each note. So go ahead and do that now if you haven't. Otherwise, we're going to move on. All right, our next one up here. Dotted half note is 3. A quarter note is 1. Add that up. 3 plus 1 is 4. And we, of course, know that the note we need to put here is a whole note. Now, as an aside here, my notes are written on a staff. So some of my stems are going up or down. I was just having a little bit of fun with it. In your book, there is no staff for this exercise, so don't be too concerned about stems going down. Moving on, we have a 2 here, plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, and we're going to write another whole note down here. In my next measure here, which is your fourth one that you have a quarter note over a half note. So we're going to write 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And what note do we know equals 3 beats? Correct. The dotted half note. All right. Next one, we have 1 plus 3 equals 4. And here we're going to write another whole note. And our last one over here, 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. And the note that we know, that is 3 beats. Dotted half note. So I'm going to leave this here for a second. You may take a screenshot if you like. And go ahead and check all your work. Hopefully you were able to keep up with me on that. At this point, let's go to the bottom of page 41 where we had to write in chord symbols. Before we get to that, they have a little review of dynamics. Dynamic signs show how loud or soft to play. And again, I like to say strong. Forte is loud. Mezzo forte, moderately loud. And piano means softly, right? Soft. Moving to the bottom, write the correct time signature at the beginning of each of the following steps. So let's go ahead and do that now. If we look at our first line of music there, we see a lot of dotted half notes. As a matter of fact, all we see are dotted half notes and then a tie at the end there. So our time signature here is 3-4. So go ahead and put your 3-4 at the beginning in the right hand, the treble clef, and the left hand bass clef there. And if you're concerned about doing it correctly, just look over at Rockets on page 40, and you're going to write the time signature in just like they have it over there, 3/4. Now let's take a look at the bottom line, and we see 2 half notes in each measure. So 2 plus 2, 2 beats plus 2 beats is 4. So we are quite certain that each measure here is getting 4 beats, let's go ahead and write in 4/4 in each staff there. Okay, and again, use rockets to help you as far as where you put your numbers, and be as neat as you can, but I'm trusting you're going to be just fine with that. Number 5, add chord symbols in the boxes above the treble staves. Again, when we have chords written in over the music, it is always written over the treble staff there. Generally, never do you ever see it written over the bass clef or the bass staff. Okay, it's always over the top hand there. Okay, so your first chord is a C chord. And we hold that for 3 counts. And then we go on to the G7, 2. Now we're going back to the C, 2. And then to G7, 2. And then to C, 2. G7. And then we have a C chord that's tied for a total of 6 counts. Okay? Let's play that together. 1, ready, and right hand only, 2, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. G7. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. Let's take a look at the bottom staff. So this one we're playing left hand only. Incidentally, before we move on, notice that a whole rest is used to show silence for a whole measure of 3/4 or 4/4. This is one musical symbol that changes slightly depending on the time signature in this case. So if you see a whole rest in 3/4 time, that tells you to rest for the entire measure. If you see a whole rest in 4/4 time, same thing, rest for the entire measure. Now, why is that a little bit complicated? Probably not for you, but maybe for our younger learners, because we generally start in 4/4 time teaching. And when we come to a whole rest, we say a whole rest gets 4 beats. We say a whole note gets 4 beats. And we cannot put a whole note into a measure of 3/4 time. We were just talking about that about 5 minutes ago. However, the rest is a little bit different. We can use a whole rest in any measure, in any time signature. Generally, it's most common in 3/4 or 4/4. But when you see a whole rest, that tells you to rest for the entire measure in 3/4 time. Okay? Now, once you get beyond 4/4, if you got into 5/4, stay with me here. If you get into 5/4 and you see a whole rest, then that would tell you that there's one more beat available in that measure, right? Unless the composer didn't put a note in there, then you would know to rest for 5 beats. Okay, that's getting way out of our lane right now. Let's stick to 3/4 and 4/4. Right. Let's play left hand. 1, 2, C chord, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. 2, 3. Now forte. Now not as forte. And now soft. 1, 2. Let's do it again. Start out softly. 1, 2. Crescendo, which means get louder. 2, 3. Now we're coming to forte. 2. Softer. And now soft. 2, 3. Yeah, you weren't expecting the dynamics, were you? So if you need to, play both of them again, working on moving your fingers to the chords, counting, depending on whether you're counting to 3 or counting to 4, be sure you know which one you're doing, and then start worrying about or start concerning yourself with dynamics. Okay, so again, when we're talking about dynamics, we're really starting to get into musicality and separating music from just sound, right? Just sound. So start working on your dynamics, and that's a great one to really dive into dynamics there. Turn the page. Let's go on. Okay, what I just played for you was the difference between slurring and not slurring. Listen to that again. I'm slurring here. Okay, this time I will not. I'm hoping you heard that the second time was really disconnected. So slurring means we're playing legato. Legato means smooth and connected. The top of your page there on 42. A slur is a curved line over or under notes on different lines or spaces. Notice that the slur looks a lot like a tie. And I had mentioned a tie a lesson or 2 lessons ago. I mentioned a slur a couple lessons ago when we were talking about the tie. Okay, so a slur and a tie, the symbol looks exactly the same. However, with a slur, you see that we're slurring different pitches or different notes. A tie was between 2 of the same notes. Slurs mean play legato, smoothly connected. Slurs often divide the music into phrases. A phrase is a musical thought or sentence. So we have phrases in a section of music or in a piece of music. We have sentences in a paragraph. Paragraphs in a chapter. Chapters in a book, okay? So a slur is a musical phrase or thought, much like a sentence in a paragraph. All right, before we go on, can I have you just here go back to C position with your left hand? So C position, we're just talking about C, D, E, F, G. And I want to focus on slurring. And let me explain. Slurring on the piano means that you're putting the next key down, or you're pressing down on the next key kind of as you're bringing up the key just before it. All right, let me demonstrate. So how about I don't slur again? So here we go without slurring. Disconnected. Okay, now, this time I'm going to slur, which means I'm going to press down on each following key as the note before it is coming up. Okay, listen, I'll take the same tempo. It's kind of like the keys are passing each other on the highway. Okay, let's do the right hand. Again, just watch and listen. Watch and listen. Maybe this is a good time for you to take a break from the video. Find both hands in their C position and take it as slow as you need to get rid of the gap between each note. And if that means really, really slowly, then take it super slowly, right? Because now we're talking about a lot of coordination. We're bringing one finger down while the other finger is coming up. And then do both hands. So that we can get our music that we're playing on the piano as if we were singing it. Okay, and I'll demonstrate what I mean there in just a second here when we get on to what can I share. So slurring and playing legato is a critical step in playing the piano and really playing any instrument. And the next time I see you, I'll be sure to bring my recorder, and I will explain that a little bit further, and I'll play it on the recorder, and it might make a different connection there. Okay, so with that said, we're going to do the best we can to play legato on What Can I Share? Again, with this probably one hand at a time, so you can just focus on legato. Okay, let's play together. Now your right hand, playing legato with repeated notes is a bit more difficult, obviously, because you do have to release and then press down again. But we can make that sound gap between the two occurrences of the note, or in this case of the chords, as short as possible so they sound as smooth as possible, right? One. Okay, so you almost bring your hand up and put the chord back down before the sound stops resonating from the first time. Okay. All right. Again, this is where it really just takes tedious practice and listening to find that space where you're playing legato, but you're not blurring. Let me give you an example of blurring your notes. Here I'm holding these notes down without releasing them. I'm going on to the next note without picking up my other one. Blur. Blurriness. Oh, muddy, muddy, muddy. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, so you'll find yourself doing that as well. Practice will take care of everything, right? Let's do it. So nice and slowly. If you want to just listen this time, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you'll listen, take some time to practice, and then come back to this part of the video and play with me. One, ready, and. Okay, again, if that's a little bit fast, and I can almost imagine that is a little bit fast for you right now because you're focusing on playing legato and making sure you're not blurring your notes and making things kind of muddy. Now let me talk about what I meant by playing as if we were singing it. Okay, now if I go here and I start singing, what can I share with you? Nobody would sing this song like that. Okay, and if somebody did, we would say you need to go practice that, right? So we want to make sure that we are playing our instrument, whatever the instrument is. In our case, it's the piano. We want to make sure we're playing our instrument as if we're singing. So therefore, the instrument is doing the singing for us. Okay, so this time, I am actually going to sing as I play, and you're welcome to sing as you play as well. Again, you may just listen this time as I play, and then come back and do it again. All right, here we go. One, ready, and. What can I share? So when we're singing, we're bringing each note generally to or each word to the next word without a break between each word. Okay? Kind of like we speak. We don't put a gap between every word when we're speaking. So that is legato. Take a lot of time and just practice playing legato. All right, let's move on to page 43, and this will be our final page for this lesson because on page 42 we have a lot to do. As a matter of fact, you can go back to all the other pieces that we've been working on, rockets, and work on playing legato. Where else? Marianne, page 37, legato. Merrily We Roll, page 35. Okay, as smooth as possible. Those are those repeated notes we talked about, right? Okay, even repeated notes. Can almost seem legato, smooth and connected, yet they're actually separated, right? Repeated notes are separated, they have to be, but we can almost make them sound connected. All right, let's get back to page, where were we? Let's get back to page 43. All right, in this one here, a little bit of homework for you on this one. Draw a slur over the notes that are played for the second sentence of the lyrics. So in the next system, the first one's done for you. You're going to draw in the next slur, okay? So that's just drawing a nice big arc, just like they have it there. You are able to do that all on your own. Play the right hand counting aloud. Play the right hand again, saying or singing the words. Connect the notes of each phrase as smoothly as you can. Add chord symbols in the boxes above the treble staves. Play with hands together. Okay, so we can do all of that. I'm going to do all of it for you right now, and then you can practice this at home. I'm going to let you write in the chord symbols. And when you're playing and singing, it's really hard to speak the words as you're playing. As a music teacher, I highly recommend and encourage you to sing what you're playing. That way you're training your ear as well. We need to keep that in mind. We're training ourselves to be a musician, which includes, above all, singing these pitches, right? Okay. Slowly. 1, ready, and slowly, slowly sinks the sun. Night is falling, day is done. Okay, this time I'm not going to sing as I play. You may play with me and sing if you like. 1, ready, go. All right. Again, it may take you some time before you're playing this satisfactorily to your own ears. Okay? And I'm trusting that you'll be able to hear this and start really critiquing, are you playing legato or is it disconnected? All right? So really listen to yourself. Bottom of the page, slurs and ties. As we were talking about earlier, they look pretty much the same, don't they? If the notes are different, it's a slur. Connect the notes legato, okay? So that's your first example there. We have a G to an E. And again, you cannot make a G longer by playing an E, okay? So that is a slur. If the notes are the same, it's a tie, meaning 2, 3, tie, 2, 3 is the second example they have there. All right, so part of your homework in number 6, write tie or slur in the box under each pair of notes as shown in the first box. All right, so your first one's a tie. Your second one you're going to write in slur. All right, that's your homework. You're going to take care of that for your homework. Again, we will check that in our next lesson. I do not feel the need to do a separate homework video for this because for the most part, your homework is going to be practicing, working on playing legato. All right, so we will check the bottom of page 43 in our next lesson. And I would also like for you to play them. So example, you're playing from number 1, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2 to measure 4. 2. F, 2, 3, tie. 2, I just gave you an answer. G, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, E. And then we slow down the C. And I just gave you another answer there. All right, and then your bottom line there is with the left hand in bass clef. All right, so that is your homework there. So page 43, we have a few things to write in. My main concern for you and my main direction for you for homework is that you practice playing legato. Play as if you were singing it. When you listen to it, if it doesn't sound like you're singing it or somebody's singing it, then take your time, go back, slow it down, so that you can start playing with smooth connected motion. Okay, remember your fingers are kind of passing each other as they go up and down. And that is it. That is it all for today's lesson. So we started on page 40. We practiced rockets. Go ahead and take that again. Again, now we're working on playing everything smooth and connected. Legato. Legato. Pretend everything for right now has that long slur over it to play smooth and connected. Bulk of our work is on page 42 and on 43 for your homework. And then the next time I see you, let's be ready to start talking about A for the left hand, introducing the F major chord. Once we get there and we get to Oh and the Saints, now we have 3 chords that we'll know. And quite frankly, 3 chords is what made a lot of pop music famous, right? Just 3 different chords. So we'll get to that the next time I see you. So start looking at 44 and 45, but your main goal right now is working on 42, 43, playing legato. Also, as we stated earlier, go back into your book and start working on some of those other pieces and make sure they're as smooth and connected as possible. Legato, right? Go back to the Ode to Joy. That piece needs to be legato, smooth and connected. It's such a beautiful piece. The Largo, make sure that's smooth and connected. Even your warm-ups with the left hand and right hand. Right now I'm looking at page 16. Right? They can all be legato with the left hand. And then do the same thing with your right hand. Go up and go down. Okay, smooth and connected. Folks, thank you so much for joining me today on Piano Lessons with Joel. You have your homework. You have plenty to do. Until the next time I see you, happy practicing. Bye-bye.